dynamic as it is, by the time you think through all the exceptions you would need to impose to a shelter-in-place order to keep this city running, the exceptions would absorb the rule, and you'd quickly become consumed by the complexity of it all. So first reactions are not the best. In a situation like the one we have now, when this is a national crisis, you need both political leadership as well as social engagement, social commitment, and public sacrifice. The public itself, through its own good behavior, can make the huge difference here in slowing the spread of the virus and keeping us all safe.
Do you think there comes a moment, because some public health experts have said this, where we look at those scenes of crowds on the beaches and people in bars and everything else, and you say, well, we can't trust everyone to abide by these guidelines we've put out, so at some point do what San Francisco did, shut the city down, or perhaps what New York City is going to do. Do you think there comes a moment where there's a national quarantine becomes necessary?
Well, I think at the national level in Washington, we have to fight the urge to try to come up with some one-size-fits-all solution. I think this has to be state by state, community by community, depending upon the nature of the demographics, the population, the workforce. But at the federal level, we can do certain things to encourage certain behavior. I think Dr. Schultz is correct. We ought to be looking at the VA. We ought to be looking at each state's National Guard. I would not federalize the National Guard. I'd leave it under state control, but I'd put them in what is referred to as Title 32 status, where the federal government pays for National Guard support. But this has to be a community by community, state by state solution, engaging in social isolation and best practices, without a doubt.
Jeffrey Goldberg in Washington, jump in here.
Dr. Shulkin, just to stay on a theme that Secretary Johnson was talking about, if you had 5 minutes with Donald Trump right now, and I realize that that's a fraught idea, but if you had 5 minutes with him right now, would you advocate for a shelter-in-place order, either for a partial order across America or an all 50-state order? How do you feel about shelter-in-place?
Yeah. My concern is that seeing a doubling of cases now every 4 days, we are unfortunately beginning to follow the epidemiologic curve of Italy rather than South Korea. So I think that we do need to consider getting more aggressive. I think a shelter in place needs to be very geographically determined, but we cannot afford to sit idly by and to watch ourselves turn into Italy. We have far fewer hospital beds than Italy. I don't know if people realize that. Our hospital leaders right now in the private sector are doing an incredible job in preparing, but we are going to see staff shortages, equipment shortages, and if we want to save people's lives, we are going to have to get more aggressive. And I don't want to see us be a few days behind always. I think that we have to be looking forward. We see what's happened in the European countries, and we can't afford to stay on the same curve that we've seen over there.
Michael Steele?
Secretary Johnson, following on that point, how are you assessing not just the surge that we're clearly sort of girding for right now, but also what can be done in the private sector in the effort to get tests? Companies may have the ability to go out and purchase these tests that they can then bring into the community.
Please leave your message. Please leave your message for
be thinking about our resources in a shared way. We're going to be asked to respond to a health emergency unlike any.
Please leave your message for. Please leave your message.
Baby. Baby. Hey, baby. Trying to buy some food. It's not very much. I got a little water. I got some water. Baby. 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 Come on, baby. Come on, please don't die on me, please. Please. Come on, please. Come on, baby, please. I love you, baby. Please don't die. Don't die on me, please. Wake up, please. Don't die, please. I love you, baby. I love you. Don't die, please. Please. Get up, baby, please. Get up. Get up. Get up.
can't believe they exterminated all those people.
Yeah. I exterminated those people because they were affected by the virus.
We're gonna die, huh? Aren't we? I'm scared.
I know, babe. I'm scared too.
This in the correct way, the Stephen Miller mindset, which is if you have a problem in our borders, you regulate our borders, no longer works because the virus is here and the virus is growing.
Secretary Shulkin, we've talked about using VA facilities to get civilian.
It's crazy out there, babe. Real. Crazy.
It's crazy. We weren't even prepared for this.
What do you expect, baby? This is America.
Duvon, it's not just America. This is a global issue.
Yeah. It's a global issue. 50 states are in lockdown.
Yes, the whole world is on a shutdown as well.
And if it's a global issue, then why? Please tell me why we weren't warned about this virus more aggressively and back in 2019.
They did warn us. We just didn't take it seriously.
No.
People can't go to work. They've lost their jobs. They can't pay their bills, so they're looting everywhere.
Yeah.
Robbing and stealing, trying to feed their own families.
Yeah.
School shut down and the stock market
Yeah.
just...
New World Order. That's what it is. New World Order.
What are you saying?
New World Order.
What does that mean?
The way of living is never going to be the same again, Angel.
Duvon, what are you saying?
Like I said, the way of living is never going to be the same again. And we just going to have to wait and see.
For a test or no test at all. South Dakota is temporarily delayed. At an Atlanta area test site, our team kept 6 feet distance when Cynthia Eunice approached to say she had been turned away.